Let's focus on the sugar space as well. A lot of news flow in the sugar space, whether it's exports, what's happening with prices. The management at Dwarikesh Sugar is now with us, Mr. Banka, MD at the company. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Could you just talk to us about the sugar issues that have been happening globally? There have been cuts as far as forecast for sugar production across the world is concerned. What does that mean?
Very good afternoon. Yes, the season 21-22, there is going to be a very marginal surplus. In fact, there was an expected decline in the stock levels, but because of the bumper sugar production coming from India, there's going to be marginal surplus. But besides that, the market, the sugar prices internationally have been reasonably good, which is the reason why we from India are able to export in large quantities. And the most remarkable thing is that all these exports that are happening from India are without any subsidies or doles from the government, unlike in the previous years. So it's a good thing to happen. But now Indian government has capped the sugar exports to 10 million tons, which actually speaking would not impact much, because in any case, we may not be able to do 10 million tons. We may be closer to that number. So the threshold of 10 million tons that the government has prescribed, in a sense, it really wouldn't impact the stock levels that we envisage going forward.
Okay, so that's good to hear. Your assumption is that we won't be able to breach that mark that the government has set for export, because there was some apprehension that with the drought in Brazil, it is possible that there might be higher demand for Indian sugar globally, and we might have to raise that bar. What would be your thought about the same? And in terms of the prices, you said it has been reasonably strong, but what is your expectation for the rest of the year? What's the level that it can reach to?
Yes, you have a point there that, considering the drought situation in Brazil, the lower production that has happened in Brazil, but all that has now been factored in, this 10 million ton mark, well, the breaching perhaps may have happened, may not have happened, but yes, here it is 10 million marks, and we have to abide by this. But 10 million marks in itself is a good mark, in the sense that even if we do about 10 million tons of export, we should be looking at a closing stock of about 6 to 7 million tons of sugar in India, which is a reasonable kind of stock levels, because at this kind of stock levels, there will not be any runaway increase in the sugar prices, but at the same time, sugar prices will be at reasonable levels. So the sugar companies will be assured of reasonable prices and accordingly reasonable profits or margins in the times to come.
Okay, Mr. Banka, that point is as well taken. But the other thing which has been working well for the sugar companies is that entire ethanol opportunity, right? We have been talking a lot about that. The government is being very serious about it. What's your expectation of the blending going forward? And on account of that, are you doing some sort of capex? What's the capacity utilization right now?
Yes, I think we should be able to, as a country, we should be able to do about 10% blending in this ethanol year. So, which is a commendable achievement, if you ask me. We'll be doing about 450 crore liters of. There will be about 450 crore liters of supply to the oil marketing companies, which is a phenomenal number considering what we have done earlier in the earlier years. So, going forward, yes, sugar companies, sugar mills have been ramping up their capacities. They are increasing their presence in the ethanol segment, in the sense that going forward, most sugar companies will be sacrificing their sugar production in favor of ethanol. So we are also going to do the same. So we already have one distillery of 162 KLPD, and we are putting up another distillery which is of 175 KLPD at our Dwarikesh Dham unit in Bareilly district. So we are kind of virtually doubling up our capacity to produce ethanol. And this distillery will be operational in the month of June. We will at the right time come out with an announcement to that effect. So our ethanol supplies are going to increase from about 5.5 crore liters that we did in FY 21-22. Once both the distilleries are fully operational, and once we have the working both the distilleries fully captured in our financials, then we will be able to supply about 11 crore liters of ethanol to the oil marketing companies. So, from a revenue mix point of view, I must say here that, sugar used to constitute nearly 90% of the total revenue stream of the sugar companies. So this is going to change, in a big way. So going forward, in our company, we expect that, sugar's share in the total revenue stream will perhaps come down to about 60 to 65%. And there's a share of distillery, the ethanol sale, the distillery segment will go up.
So thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us. Dwarikesh Sugar 110, the management over there talking about sugar way ahead and the sort of capacity and expansion that the company has as well.